I'm talking to Leigh McLeod today from the Willow Arts Community, and I think many people in Niagara probably know about the Willow, but it is a little bit of a hidden gem when it comes to its approach and its connection between art and helping people who have lived experience with mental illness, have some struggles with substance use, and bringing different people together. So my very first question, Leigh, is I have talked about Willow Arts for the last number of years as providing art therapy.
Yes.
And I mentioned that to you the other day, and you said it's not art therapy.
Yes.
So art therapy, the
hmm
definition, is using art with therapy, literally with a therapist, a psychiatrist, a group,
Yep.
to combine the recovery or the
hmm
treatment to help people by this sort of almost sanitary connection
Sure.
between arts. But that is not the Willow.
No, no. And I want to start out by saying I think art therapy as an offering to folks who need that kind of support is wonderful. And I think it's a very valuable and valid way to explore healing in clinical therapeutic settings. So let me start off by saying, I am a supporter of art therapy as a modality. But at Willow Arts, because we're peer-led, so we're run by and for folks living with mental illness and substance use. And we only employ the arts as a means of learning new skills, connecting with others with like-minded experiences, and providing opportunities for folks to explore and discover these inner strengths and a voice through the arts, but in a community setting. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two things there, right? There's the art
Yeah,
itself and the community setting.
that's right.
And then the peer. So it's almost like a
Yeah.
pyramid.
Yeah.
But what is it about art? And that's where I think a lot of people struggle. What is it about the creative process?
Yes. Well, it gives people a means to communicate feelings, thoughts, experiences that may be hard to put to words. It allows people like exploring the art. First of all, making art feels good. When we are young, when we are young and not burdened by responsibilities and life, we are creative by default. We being humans, whether we make noise, we bang drums, we play with crayons. I believe that is an internal experience that all humans given the opportunity will create. And so we are offering that experience to adults who either come to us having as artists and have and understand that making art and creating things with their hands or with instruments, just it feels good and it's a way to express yourself. It's also a way to connect to others around you. So when you have folks sitting around a table all working on a project together, it kind of provides the social currency to have conversations, to make connections, to learn things about yourself and to be curious.
Well, you sort of mentioned in there people who are already creative or artists coming to the Willow, but
Oh,
that's actually not the case because I figure I don't have an artistic bone in my body. That's how
sure.
I see myself.
Yep.
But I could come to Willow
Yep.
and I could do soft art, for example. And I was there one day and there was a group of people and they were making a soft art mural.
Yeah.
And each
Like,
person was picking their own sort of creative vision for that.
yep.
And but you also have drawing, so I could go in there and I could do drawing or I could do spoken word, which is really cool. But you also mentioned that it's peer led. So you've got peers coming in and working together and making that connection and kind of saying, oh, What do you mean I'm not alone?
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
So you're naming a couple of things. So we hire local professional artists. First of all, majority have lived experience of some kind. So that's the peer model, right? With that these are not therapists, these are not doctors, these are folks living and breathing and working here in St. Catharines or the Niagara region. They're all local, who are professional or working artists in whatever creative, whatever medium that somebody naturally, a musician, a fiber artist, somebody that paints, and what we do is we provide arts education, so you don't have to already know how to do something to come and learn. So you like to join the Willow is to want to explore your creative identity, or you already have an arts practice and you want a space to make more art and to get connections and to connect into a community. So that's really, you don't have to be good at something to learn how to do something, right? And then the peer level comes where folks, I think a lot of times folks with lived experience can also have some self-esteem challenges or feeling maybe they don't belong in mainstream spaces, all, due to so many reasons. It could be poverty, it could be social challenges, it could be cultural differences, many of these intersecting identities that exist with lived experience. And so what we do at the Willow is say, like, you're welcome here, and we don't need you to be any different than who you are. Please come and be yourself as much as as much as you feel confident or comfortable to be yourself here. And that it's a safe space to explore creativity. Making art is very vulnerable for artists and non-artists. It's a vulnerable act. And to do that together builds relationships, it builds confidence, it builds connections.
why is it vulnerable?
To make art?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you are making something kind of pure. You're putting your heart out there essentially, to be creative is to take this like little seed and plant it and water it and to watch it grow, and we all have creativity in us. We really do. I mean, we're not all practicing professional visual artists that can paint giant murals, but we all have, and I believe, an innate sense of creativity of some kind. And we provide spaces for people to explore that. And it's very common that folks join us and say, "Oh, I'm not a good artist." Well, that's okay. Would you like to learn watercolor? And by the end of a 6-week class, led by a professional artist in who teaches watercolor, they've made something. And now it's like, oh, I've actually learned these skills. I've had some fun. I have some confidence. I'd like to try again. It feels good to learn new things and to do it in a supportive environment.
Yeah, I can see if you come in, many of the people who would be coming to the Willow, and I want to say barrier free also includes there's no cost to the member. You become a
Absolutely.
member of the Willow. So there's no cost there. So there isn't a barrier to that.
Yep.
Kind of the barrier is this notion of whether you can be artistic or not.
Yep.
And what you create is, I mean, I did a line drawing there once, and I can't even tell you what it looked like when I finished.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? It was kind of Picasso. I could have made, maybe I'd
Yeah.
make $1 million, but there's no
Yeah.
expectation that you
Oh,
have to create something that
no.
is as good as everybody
No.
else, because that was what would prevent someone like me who doesn't feel artistic.
That's right.
So I can see why if you see any improvement from the day you come in to the end of
Yes.
the program.
Yeah. Well, and we're process based, right? We're not about the outcome. We're about the
Okay.
steps of every, we're it's more about the process of making art than it is some big finished, polished Picasso piece, right? It's more about um setting goal, being in a space and trying something and learning. That's really where we find the value of what we do.
Do you have people who come in for a course and then they go through that course over the period of weeks, then come back and maybe try something different, or come back and take, say, watercolor. Say they went through the
Yeah.
watercolor course, who come back and again and say, I want to do this again because I felt like when I left, I had something.
Oh my God. Like daily, I get to witness these daily epiphanies, these daily sparks of like creative joy and expression, where folks come in maybe not knowing how to do something, and then we pair them with these incredible local leaders in our community who are, active arts workers or professional artists who teach in a way that's so accessible that we say, like, here are the supplies, here's the space, here's the room, here's the container. And you're around creativity. So you feel inspired to create. You come for a 2-hour class for 6 weeks, and your worries are, your worries are going to be there when you leave. We know that we're not solving everyone's challenges. Folks struggle, folks thrive, folks struggle with lived experience, right? But when they come to the Willow, you are there to do something that feels good. And you can come on your bad day, you can come and not talk. But making art feels good. We know this again and again. And we've also been able to measure that participation in our programming reduces social isolation because everything we do is in community. It's not one-on-one. It's not solo work in a studio by yourself. Sometimes making art can be quite an isolating activity for artists who have, studio spaces at home or whatever. Doing it amongst others, it builds a sense of community and belonging. And we've measured it. We know that it reduces social isolation, which is one of our like social determinants of health. And so it is legitimately improving the lives of the people that we support.
Yeah, I think social isolation is one of the biggest things because
Yep.
people who are living with a mental illness, and I mean, you don't have to be seriously ill to go
Oh
there either.
gosh, we're not asking personal
But
questions.
so many people um, don't leave their homes, or not very often. Maybe they go to work,
Yep.
but they don't really participate, or they're not maybe connected at work, and then they go home. They live
Mm-hmm.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
They feel often less than.
Yep.
They don't want to be seen, and
Yep.
that can keep someone so ill, like you cannot progress and become better.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word to use, but I'm thinking about myself with
Sure.
social isolation. If I don't go out even now, I get into a headspace that's very bad.
Oh, sure.
But when I go out, that is the fear I had of going out goes away because I go out and there is no reason to be afraid. But so that, on the homepage of Willow, it says connection is one of the important things. So even if you've got that couple of hours where you're with other people, even if it's a couple of hours a week, that could make a huge difference.
It does, and it does make a huge difference. We hear this all the time. I can think of one example. Recently, a parent of one of our members approached us at our recent exhibition opening at the Brock University Marilyn I. Walker School, um, with tears in their eyes, and said, like, I can't thank you enough for what your programming has done for my child. That this time a year ago they weren't leaving their rooms, they were completely isolated, reclused. They weren't functioning as a person, and since joining they are now teaching, they have exhibited work, they have made friends, they come out weekly to our programming. And this parent just said, like, you've changed, you've saved my kid's life, you've changed their life. And that's um, beautiful to hear from a parent who would have had this experience with their child for, probably decades, right? If someone is sick, they've witnessed someone being unwell, and now they're getting to see their child through a different lens. They don't just maybe deal with depression or anxiety. they also are now an exhibiting artist or a performing artist. It's helping to improve relationships as well. Um, and we
Yeah,
have those kinds of stories across the board.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, in the case of that parent, they're not very different from any other parent who, whether it's a child or an adult child
yeah, the
struggling,
reality.
and they
Yeah,
can't do anything about
yeah,
it.
that's it.
And they're always looking for something that can
Bring,
connect that person back.
brings back some life.
So let's go back to why Willow started.
Yeah,
You brought personal experience to
yeah,
Willow.
yes.
And can you talk just a bit about where you were and how that decision came to create the Willow and provide that space?
Yeah, I mean, I like many others, was struggling to find recovery here in the region, um, due to a lack of services that are available to folks, for ongoing recovery. Um, and um, you know, the wait lists to receive free mental health care in the region are sometimes are frequently astronomical. And the folks on the front line supporting our community are fantastic. This is much more of a top-down issue with funding from on a governmental level. But yeah, folks. Yeah, I didn't have anything to lose. I think at this point, I also have a brother who passed away due to his mental health and addiction experiences, and kind of fell through the cracks of the system, as some do, and was a brilliant musician. And I've always employed the arts to connect and to feel good through dancing and creative writing and visual arts as well. So to me, it was like, what can we do? What can I do? What is something that's within my power to try and make a difference for my own community? And yeah, got together a team of folks with lived experience, um, and various professional um, who had different professional skills to say like let's create something, and it was very grassroots, but it was also in conversation with mental health care providers who said we don't have anywhere to refer people into the community. There is nowhere to say like here's this free resource that is rooted in research, best practices, that is ongoing and that is good for people. And so I thought, well, then I should make it. And I think I was crazy enough to do it. But yeah, it's 10 years. We've been
10,
doing
I
this.
know, 10 years. We got to wrap up, but I want to make sure because we need to make sure that we talk about the Willow main studio is in St. Catharines on St. Paul Street in
Yeah.
Silver Spire Church, but you have also been able to expand into other communities. So over the past 10 years, you have grown and are now providing different arts, different artists, and different places.
Yes, yes. We were recipients of an Ontario Trillium Foundation grant, to pilot and expand our programming into Fort Erie and Welland. The last 4 years, we've already set up each summer in Niagara Falls at the Niagara Falls Community Health Center. But knowing the transportation barriers of the majority of the folks we serve, and I'm from Ridgeway, Fort Erie. So to me, bringing the Willow home to my hometown feels like always was my plan. But yes, we will be opening up pilot sites through partnerships in Fort Erie and Welland to hire their artists that live in their communities and to do this kind of work there for the next 3 years, and with the goal of sustaining past the 3 years so that we can truly say that we are a regional agency. But yeah, we have really taken root here in St. Catharines. Folks are all welcome to join us if they can get to our studio. You don't have to be a St. Catharines resident, but we do receive fantastic municipal funding through the City of St. Catharines Cultural Investment Program, because the majority of the people we serve here do live in St. Catharines, and that's where we're located. But yeah, 10 years, and we are
Well,
actually
this is when I
celebrating.
should start singing happy birthday. And I would
Thank
sing happy
you.
birthday if it wouldn't, I know, drive people away. Because I'm telling you, one thing I'm not doing at Willow is taking a singing class.
Oh, but you
10,
should. You
10
should.
years, might be funny, 10 years, big birthday celebration in Montebello
Yes.
Park next weekend on the August
Right.
22nd. And there's going to be lots of fun stuff for kids, face painting and games and the thing where you
Kids
throw
and
rubber.
adults.
And
And
adult, no,
adults.
I haven't gone. I know I'm getting to the adults too. Well, adults will want to throw a rubber chicken against
That's right.
I'd never heard of chicken throwing before that, but lots of things to do. There's going to be arts there that you can see that have been created over the past 10 years by Willow members, music.
Yeah, so
So
we have a 10-year commemorative art installation celebrating our past 10 years. Yeah, we're gonna have Juno Award nominated Sarah Jerome and her trio jazz band to perform. Local uh, local musician, songwriter extraordinaire Joe Lipinski will be there to sing. Jeff Farnsworth will be creating live art with an auction at the end. We'll have merch, finally, Willow Arts merch, t-shirts and tote bags. And the face painting is for folks of all ages, led by Willow members, so artists face painting, as well as
Hannah
henna.
artist.
Yes, a few henna artists,
Yeah,
Khadijah
I know
and
people
family.
who really love henna art and they are coming for that.
A tea garden. There's ways to participate, paid and ticketed and unticketed events, but really it is a fundraiser, so that we can be here for 10 more years and continue to provide free programming to folks in our community.
So again, that is next weekend, Saturday, August 22nd, at Montebello Park in the Pavilion from 2 until 5. And it's going to be a really great day. If you're taking your kids to the park, you got something else you can take them to after they've been on the swing set for a while.
Yeah,
So
2 to
Leigh,
5.
thanks for coming on and talking about the Willow. I've been kind of involved on and off over the years, and I've just learned a ton.
Hey, thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, so 10 years, let's go for another 10 years and another 10 after that and another 10 after that.
That's right.
You can listen to all shows of Life Unscripted on 610 CKTB, your favorite podcast app, or on my website at lifeunscripted.ca.